Hey everybody, what is going on? Fallout here, and we are live recording today's YouTube video on Twitch. This is going to be a really big Twab, aka This Week at Bungie. We have special guest CoolGuy with us today. I have, to prove to you that we are on Twitch, let me just quickly show you. Everyone's saying hi YouTube in the Twitch chat. They're very excited. It's going to be a crazy, crazy Twab. Everybody's hype. Thanks for everybody to coming out and showing up for the YouTube video today. We're going to read the big Twab about ability changes with CoolGuy. And before we get going, gotta thank the sponsor of today's video, Ridge Wallets. These things are beautiful, and I'm glad to promote them on my channel because I've actually been using one myself for about the past year. No joke, this right here has been my actual wallet. A lot of guys I know are still lugging around wallets like this. Big, bulky, floppy, and uncomfortable, doesn't sit well in your pocket, and you gotta move it around when you sit down. As I mentioned, over a year of the Ridge wallet, and I'm just never going back. It's light, sleek, and efficient. It doesn't fold or bulge out awkwardly in your pocket. It's got room for all my cards and a clip for bills when I am carrying cash. They've got over 30 colors and styles on their website, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. Sounds like a Destiny shader. They've got 30,000 5-star reviews, one of them being mine, and each wallet comes with a lifetime warranty. Yes, you can buy just one wallet and boom, carry and use it for life. The Ridge is so confident you'll like it that they'll let you test drive it for 45 days, and if you don't, you can send it back for a full refund. Get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/falloutplays and use promo code falloutplays. Link to their site in the video description, and thank you again to Ridge for sponsoring today's video. Here we go, This Week at Bungie. We take a look at every grain in the ability sandbox. Hello and welcome to another sandbox-focused TWAB. If you're new, you might be asking, what's the sandbox? Well, it's complicated. It's split between the weapons you use, the armor you equip, the perks and mods that you hunt for, and the enemies you face. Let's be real. The D2 sandbox is broad. Last week, we focused on the weapon sandbox, that is true, and what changes they got for December 7th. This week, we're taking a pass on the abilities that your guardians possess. Think supers, melees, grenades, and class abilities. I highly recommend you grab a glass of water, maybe some advanced GG with promo code Fallout, and even a snack, because we got a pretty lengthy update. Okay. Scrolling on down before we dive into the details. Oh, God, for the love of God. Okay. 30th anniversary out on December 7th, which just so happens to be 19 days from the publication of this blog article. In-game, there's still plenty to do between seasonal challenges, trials, the occasional Iron Banner, yada, yada, yada. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. Cool. Expect a very light TWAB next Wednesday. Good. Okay, sandbox time. There are buffs and nerfs. There are tuning levers that we've recently unlocked. With back-end changes, there are clear separations between PvE and PvP and more.
Nice.
There's a lot going on here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. Are we finally ready to get into it?
Oh, yeah, it's Kevin.
Oh, our good boy Kevin here. Hey all, Kevin Yanez here to give you a quick intro before I hand off to fellow designers Eric and Mike. A few TWABs ago, I gave a brief roadmap leading towards our 30th anniversary, the Witch Queen and beyond. A new roadmap will not likely happen for some time after this, that's fair, as the team is heads down on more than a few initiatives. Cool. One of the initiatives you're going to hear about today is an adjustment to ability regeneration as a whole. I knew it. And a refocusing of Crucible gameplay on weapons. The team has touched almost every piece of abilities content with this release, wow. And I'm fairly convinced this will be our biggest balance patch ever. Wow. Earlier this year, we heard overwhelming feedback that PvP has been largely dominated by ability usage. Players felt that abilities were firing off too frequently with too much potency and too little investment. At its core, Destiny is a game about space magic, so any adjustments to our abilities must be made with care. We believe the changes we have made will keep the heart of what makes Destiny abilities fun intact while shaving down some of the excessive cases we've seen out there. I feel it's important to reinforce here that part of Destiny's strength is that it's a live game, and we're able to iterate and improve the game as time goes on. This means that we're building new foundational systems like the one you'll read about today with that in mind. We're giving ourselves more balancing knobs to tune than we've ever had before, and we hope you'll start to see why that's so important. You want to take over here?
Sure. We hope the 30th anniversary shakes up the sandbox in new ways and gets you excited for even more changes coming in the Witch Queen. The team will likely go heads down for a little bit as we have Solar and Arc to go to 3.0 alongside with other insanely cool initiatives. The team takes player feedback seriously, and as Destiny players ourselves, we have an intrinsic fire to keep improving things for everyone. We hope that once you've seen over... Hold on. We hope what you've seen over the last year reinforces that this team is both about competitive balance and making incredibly dope new shit. Okay. Now I'm going to fade away into the ether as Eric Smith takes us into what's coming next. The winds of change.
Here we go.
In 30th anniversary, we've changed the way ability cooldowns work. Up until now, cooldowns across individual ability types, the grenade, melee, super, and class, have generally been identical between all abilities of the same type. For example, all grenades in D2 share the same cooldown time, with the exception of stasis grenades.
Sure.
This shared cooldown means that grenades need to have roughly the same power output because they have the same time cost. And for the 30th anniversary, we made a change that allows us to tune the cooldown to each ability separately. This gives us a new knob to turn when balancing abilities that are too powerful or not powerful enough. Now that we have this new system in place, we've done a cooldown tuning pass for all subclass abilities in the game, tuning each ability's cooldown time against its power output. We've also tuned ability power outputs and assigned cooldown times accordingly. The best example of this might be the Flux grenade. Take a look.
Okay.
All right, so I'll start with Flux.
Take it.
Increased base cooldown from 82 seconds to 182 seconds.
Wow.
Increased attached detonation damage from 150 to 250. It's a one-shot kill. Just like back in D1.
Dude, I don't know about that. Wait, they're saying that that's what they're changing?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But dude, it's a 3-minute cooldown.
Yeah, but like, why are we ever going back to that? People hated that at the end of D1. Even with the ridiculously long cooldown time.
Well, let's see what else they have.
Oh, man.
Increased damage.
Keep reading, yeah.
Increased damage versus PvE combatants by 15% on top of base damage increase. Removed projectile tracking. Added a small amount of aim assist. Increased the throw speed by 117%. So that's like fastball, dude. That's
okay. So wait a minute, though. They're changing it to literally be a Halo sticky grenade.
And it now sticks on all surfaces.
Oh, dude, I'm 100. Okay, never mind. I didn't read ahead on the changes. Yeah, thinking about a flux grenade to auto track to people like in D1, that sounds horrible. They're literally turning it into a plasma grenade from Halo, and I like that idea. Okay.
For that life.
Yeah, I panicked.
The flux grenade now has a very long cooldown, but it's a one-shot kill in the Crucible if you manage to land it. It also hits harder in PvE. And as a reminder, the flux grenade is currently only available on Hunter Arc Striders. Now, here's an example of the opposite direction, the Firebolt grenade.
Okay.
Reduced base cooldown from 82 seconds to 64 seconds. Reduced damage per bolt from 90 to 65. Increased damage versus PvE combatants by 15%. So the Firebolt grenade has a low cooldown time, especially at tier 10 discipline, and it also has low damage output. These kinds of varied cooldowns and power output should make the game feel more dynamic and give more depth to build crafting. To make build crafting around cooldowns easier, you'll now be able to see the base cooldown time of your abilities when selecting them on the subclass screen. And they have a little picture here.
Look at that.
On the character screen, you'll see the actual cooldown time of your abilities as they're affected by your equipped ability and armor stats. Base cooldown, minute 30 for Chain Lightning. On the character screen, okay, let's see, strength, 39 of 100, so 3 of 10, minute 30. A couple things to note about the cooldown times and the user interface. The base cooldown time is actually the cooldown time at tier 3 of the relevant armor stat, strength, discipline. This is because the system technically penalizes you for tanking your stats below tier 3, in which case your cooldown would be longer than base. We're looking into updating this to be more intuitive in a future release. Cooldown times for class abilities are not currently displayed due to a technical issue. We plan to fix this in a future release.
Telesto is to blame.
All right, take over.
I will. We've been calling this the Varial Ability Cooldown System, VAC, and we think it's the beginning of a big change for the D2 sandbox. It's a foundational change in preparation to move the light subclasses over to the subclass 3.0 system that Stasis currently uses. For the 30th anniversary, we're using it to change the cooldown of nearly every ability in the game. Wow. One of our design goals this year was to reduce the amount of ability spam in PvP and focus back on gunplay. To this end, we've made ability cooldown times longer on average than they were before. GG. We don't want the PvE experience to suffer for the sake of PvP balance, though. Important. So we've tried to compensate where possible. For example, we've increased all grenade damage in PvE combatants versus PvE combatants by 15% or more. This should make grenades feel like bigger power moments than they do in today's game. Melee ability cooldowns have not been increased quite as much as grenade cooldowns, and some of the less aggro melee attacks have lower cooldowns than before. Class ability cooldowns have also generally increased, but the changes vary depending on which ability is equipped. Wow. Okay. We're excited to see how these changes... Oh, what's up?
We just need to keep going with this, man.
I agree.
I don't know how I feel.
I like so far what I'm hearing. I like the idea of putting the gameplay focus in PvP anyway on gunplay. Like all the fun stuff in D2, it's really fun and cool, but I want people to be rewarded more for gun skill, you know? All right, reading on. We're excited to see how these changes feel when they're in the live game. We will be monitoring and adjusting, yada, yada, yada. Okay, passing the mic to Mike. Heyo. Super cooldowns. Into the fray. Since Destiny's launch in 2014, super energy gain has been almost entirely passive. Your intellect stat dictates how quickly your super will regen, with a few other elements like orbs of power, armor, and weapon perks, and defeating targets as active sources. This system worked well for a long time, but has issues that have grown more obvious as the game has evolved in overall player skill, especially skill in evaluating how to play around their character build has increased. Example. In high-stakes game modes like Trials or Survival, where each life is precious, passive play becomes more common as players sit back and wait for their supers to close out a tied game. True. In general, we want the most efficient way to gain super energy to be actively engaging in combat. That doesn't mean you need to win every fight, but we want you to try. Dude, I like it. To get us closer to that goal, we're making a big change to the system. Super regen will still have a passive component scaled by your intellect stat, but at a significantly reduced rate. On top of your passive regeneration, you will also gain super energy by dealing and taking damage to or from opponents. Here are a few key goals for the new system. In PvE, super uptime should be relatively unchanged from the live game, if not slightly higher. We're pretty happy with the frequency of supers in most PvE content and don't want to make a big change right now on that front. Fair. Everybody should get at least one super in a 6v6 match that goes to the scorer or time limit as long as they engage in regular combat. Expression of power through using your awesome space magic is a core part of what makes Destiny special, and we're not looking to change that. We think that the cadence of supers in 6v6 modes is slightly too high, but we don't expect a dramatic change in super uptime for most players in playlists like Control or Iron Banner as a result of those changes. Supers should be less frequent in 3v3 than in the live game, where 2 supers per match is a fairly regular occurrence. That is true.
Yeah,
these modes are... Yeah, go ahead.
That's a big thing. Think Trials, man. Like right now, currently, I'd say out of a 7-win card, only one game I'll get a super because it's going so quick. Like this is telling me that there's no way to get that super, man. Really.
Reading unless it depends on if we're doing regular trials or zone trials, first of all. But yeah. These modes are about expression of player skill. We want that skill to be primarily about team coordination, positioning, intelligent use of your abilities, and first and foremost, gunplay. While there is absolutely skill in outmaneuvering active supers or playing around super uptime, supers in general are purposefully designed to be accessible power fantasies for all players, and that inherently creates asymmetry that we need to account for in more competitive play. Dude, this is a really good twab. Player weapon play should have a noticeable benefit in super energy regeneration. With the new system, we are scaling energy gains up and down granularly based on the source of the damage, both outgoing and incoming. Outgoing primary weapon damage has a significantly higher return of super energy per damage point than any other type of damage. Quick side note before I keep reading, CoolGuy, I wonder if that means they're going to change, what is the Thresh?
Yeah.
Or maybe it'll still, I don't know, maybe it'll be even more valuable. I don't know.
Or maybe Thresh just became S tier. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Different supers should come online at different times in a given match, and your super of choice should have an impact on how quickly it regenerates, okay? To reiterate what we mentioned above, we have always lived in a world where nearly every super in the game shares the same cooldown, regardless of their efficacy in a given game mode. Now that we have made the foundational change to differentiate cooldowns per individual ability, we want to address the super o'clock issue in PvP, where 3 minutes into a match, 12 supers, this is so funny, are simultaneously popped and chaos ensues. See, that's so true. We want to open up build crafting space where your super's cooldown time is an important element in your decision making beyond how high you want your intellect stat to be. To that end, we've separated supers into cooldown tiers that affect both the passive regeneration rate as well as the damage-based regeneration rate. This tiering was primarily influenced by each super's kill potential, where most one-off supers are unlikely to wipe a team or a room of combatants, but a long-lasting roaming super can and should have a trade-off. It's fair. We've also taken into account the general potency of the subclass kits where possible. For example, later on we will talk, oh boy, about Shatterdive and changes we're making which impact how effective the Revenant Hunter is in the neutral game, causing us to shift some of that potency to the super's uptime as a result. It's also important to stress that this is the first iteration of this system where any given super will fall into the recharge rate tiers will change over time as we continue tuning. These are the super regeneration rate tiers that we are launching on December 7th. CoolGuy, take me through them.
Tier 5, the fastest regeneration, Well of Radiance. And that's not bad. Like, if you're telling me that you could pop a well down first, and then a well's pretty tough, dude. A well's pretty tough to take out unless you have a sniper. You know, your teammates can get orbs. Did they talk about orbs giving you super energy yet?
I don't think they talked about that yet, no. All
right, Tier 4, Blade Barrage, Silence and Squall. I mean, that's a pretty big super difference right there, dude. Blade Barrage and Silence and Squall. All right, Tier 3.
Yeah, they need the quick regeneration because they're bad. I mean, compared to the other top tier roamers, right? Like,
yeah. Tier 3, Shadow Shot, Burning Maul, Arc Staff, Nova Bomb, Thunder Crash. Tier 2, Golden Gun, Chaos Reach, Nova Bomb, Storm Trance, Daybreak, Sentinel Shield. And Tier 1, the slowest, Spectral Blades, Fist of Havoc, Hammer of Soul, Glacial Quake, Winter's Wrath. So the heavy roamers.
I like it. Now, I think Daybreak should also be in Tier 1, and that's coming from a Warlock main. Like, I play Top Tree Dawnblade a lot.
I play bottom.
Yeah, like, dude, Daybreak is really good. Like,
Daybreak's really good.
I'd put Daybreak on the same level as Glacial Quake, Winter's Wrath. I don't know. I would maybe switch those. I don't know.
So, I mean, it sounds here like the Tier 2 and Tier 1. Like, Tier 1, I think, are really, especially Fist of Havoc with its tree. And then Glacial Quake and Winter's Wrath. They're heavy roamers. But, like, Golden Gun, Nova Warp, it's almost tied to resilience as well, right? Because the Golden Gun, the Nova Warp, the Chaos Reach, they're a little bit easier to take out.
Yeah.
Where Spectral Blades has the DR, Fist of Havoc is just everywhere on your screen.
I think Golden Gun might need to be maybe a little higher. I don't know. Like, a Golden Gun is so... You can just wait them out. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can literally just wait out a Golden Gun. It's very difficult to wait out
six, 7 minutes to get your Golden Gun, and they just stompy yeet away.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's interesting. That's our first pass. Keep going there.
Yep.
CoolGuy. Yeah.
As Kevin and Eric mentioned, this sets us up for the future as we move towards Subclass 3.0. And as an example, for the 30th anniversary, things like the Deadfall and Mobius Quiver variants of Shadow Shot will share the same cooldown tier, but the Void 3.0, launched in February, they could exist in different tiers based on their potency. By the same token, Ward of Dawn, which is currently tied to the Sentinel Shield's cooldown, will be moved to the Tier 5 group as a standard, or as a standalone super with Void 3.0. So that's going to be up there with so
wait a minute, what? Oh, wow, interesting.
Support's going to be the fastest ones.
Sure.
Taking it down a notch, Mike, let's talk about non-super abilities for a moment. In the 5/27/2021 This Week at Bungie, Kevin shared our foundational pillars for the role we want abilities to play in the Crucible Combat Sandbox. As a quick refresher, this is where we want to be. Weapons are the primary way players engage within combat. Non-super abilities accentuate or augment the combat, but should rarely solve an encounter by themselves. Abilities have clear strengths, weaknesses, and counterplay. Build crafting is rewarding within the moment-to-moment combat loop of Destiny. We're not there yet. In general, ability uptime in the Crucible is too high for their current potency, and it's difficult to understand when an opponent will regain an ability after using it. Some of that uptime comes from passive cooldowns, but many other outliers also come from elements of the build crafting system that have previously been unified in ability energy returns between PvE and PvP. With the 30th anniversary, we've taken a pass at a significant number of these elements across subclass perks, armor mods, exotic armor pieces. We have tuned PvP energy regeneration separately from their base PvE values, which we are not changing.
Good call.
Good call.
Definitely a good call.
I'll read down to the subclass and super perks.
Sounds good, dude. And then I'll take over. Yep.
For our pillars, we want build crafting to be rewarding. And in its current state, the combinational nature of these perks and items lead to an unsustainable ability energy economy that diminishes weapon play from PvP. For this tuning pass, we focus primarily on items that feed into self-perpetuating loops of ability energy gains. Here's a brief list of the effective items. Subclass neutral game perks. These perks have had their ability energy regeneration reduced by roughly 50% in PvP. We targeted perks that could either activate out of combat with a single button press, or those that were returning amounts of ability energy that were significantly out of band. Whisper of Shards, Arc Web, Rising Storm, Ionic Traces, Electrostatic Surge, Aftershocks, Inertia Override, Benevolent Dawn, Practice Makes Perfect, Dark Matter.
Now, wait a minute. They said they're reducing, so they're making it quicker. They're making these, wait, they're quicker or longer? They said reduced. Do they mean shortened or lengthened?
These perks have had their ability energy regeneration reduced by roughly 50%.
I think that means they're making it longer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they would say shorter or longer. I think that would be more clear, but yeah, okay.
We targeted perks that could either activate out of combat with a single button press, or those that were returning amounts of ability energy that were significantly out of band. So practice makes perfect, right? Getting more super energy for landing headshots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nerf. Yeah, all these are nerfs.
Yeah. Chat is agreeing that it seems to be phrased in a way that all these are going to be longer. Especially, I can't imagine them deciding to make Arc Web quicker,
almost double time.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. Okay.
All right, your turn.
Yeah, my turn. All right. Subclass in super perks. These perks scale down energy returns as you get kills in your super, i.e. the first kill while in super returns more super energy than the third kill. Okay. These perks often result in supers being able to roam the map for much longer than is healthy for the game. That's fair. And mean that a victim can frequently die to an active super, respawn on the other side of the map, and be killed by that same super. I hate it when that happens to me. We've rescaled this energy refund decay more aggressively in PvP so that the minimum energy refund is reached roughly twice as quickly. No change has been made to the refund decay against PvE. Fair. Everlasting Fire, Dawnblade Warlock, Trample. Oh, thank God, dude. Trample. I just think bottom tier or bottom tree Striker Titan mains are probably going to be mad about that, but like Trample's really good.
What do you mean, dude? It's fine. Just adapt.
Just adapt, bro. Exotic armor. Oh boy. Each exotic below had a custom tuning pass focused on their ability energy return in PvE. Frosties no longer stacks multiplicatively in PvP with other regeneration buffs, is now an additive scaler. No change in PvE. Heart of Inmost Light, ability energy regeneration scalers reduced by 50% in PvP. Reworked, so activating multiple abilities will now reliably result in multiple empowered stacks. The stacking behavior was previously a bug, but this seemed like a good opportunity to promote it to a feature. How very Todd, what's that guy's name? Todd, oh my God, I can't remember his fucking last name. I just call him Todd. The guy from Bethesda.
Todd Howard?
Yeah, Todd Howard. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Controverse hold. Duration of the grenade regeneration buff is no longer random between 1 and 4 seconds and is now a fixed duration of 1.7 seconds. Ooh. Reduced grenade energy regeneration scaler by 50% in PvP. The previous average duration due to waiting was 1.71, with a 1 second duration being the most common. Woof. So this should improve the exotic's consistency across the game with a lower return in PvP. GG. Doomfang Pauldrons. Reduced super energy gain on activation when an opposing player is killed by a void melee by 50%. Shinobu's Vow. Reduced grenade energy gain on hits versus players by 66%.
That's
no change in
nerf.
PvE. Big nerf, yeah. Wow. 66%. Sheesh. Crown of Tempest. Grenade, melee, and super energy regeneration. Scalar buff. Duration reduced from 7 seconds to 4 in PvP. No change in PvE. The Stag. Reduced class ability energy refund on shield break by 50% in PvP. No change in PvE. These are a lot of important changes.
So the Stag one's huge because right now it's about 70 or 80%, dude.
Strong.
Really,
yeah.
It's really, really strong.
It's very strong. Armor mods. In general, we've reduced energy returns from these mods by roughly 50% in PvP, depending on the number of copies of the mod you have slotted. Melee kickstart, grenade kickstart, utility kickstart. All these you should have seen coming a mile away, by the way, chat. Like I was telling them before you joined stream, CoolGuy, like if you wanted to, right now in the meta, pre-December update, if you wanted to, if you were a Revenant Hunter, you could go Tier 10 Discipline, you could go Frosties, you could go Grenade Kickstart, you could go Perpetuation, and like the amount...
And Utility Kickstart.
Huh?
And Utility Kickstart.
Utility Kickstart. What is it? Whisper of... Was it Fractures? The one where you break the grenade and your grenade kicks in quicker. Like, dude, if you wanted to, you spec out your Hunter in a way, and it's just comically quick how fast you get your... Glacier grenade back. Yeah, all these contribute. They're big contributing factors. Grenade kickstart, utility kickstart, perpetuation, bolstering detonation, focusing strike, bomber. Of course, I use bomber all the time. Outreach, dynamo, distribution, momentum transfer, impact induction. This is a big foundational shift for us, and we expect to do a lot of tuning as time goes on. So as always, we will be on the lookout for how things are feeling across the game and will adjust accordingly. Now I'll throw it back over to Eric for some spicy details on more ability tuning changes you can expect with the 30th anniversary. CoolGuy, take it away.
So real quick with these being reduced roughly by 50% in the Crucible. Currently, it's about, I think, it's about 10% for each one. So like Utility Kickstart, when you dodge, you get like 20% back. So it sounds like if you double up on mods, it's only going to be like 10%.
Yeah, probably.
So...
Yeah, those are really good. Really good.
It's still going to be good when you double
mods.
up on them, especially if a cooldown's going to be 3 minutes. All right.
Yeah, for sure. Carry on.
Dang, this is long. Eric, in case you haven't caught on yet, the list of ability changes we're making for the 30th anniversary is massive. We've touched nearly every ability in the game in some small way. We won't go over the full patch notes because it's mind-numbingly long. But let's take a look at some of the most the most provocative balance changes. Stasis crystals.
Here we go.
They do a lot. On top of freezing players when they were created, they also block line of sight, block movement. They act as explosive barrels. They rage CoolGuy. It's all a bit too much for the Crucible. With this release, the stasis crystals will now slow players instead of freezing them, and they'll do much less damage to players when they detonate.
Ooh, big change. Is that the play? Oh, there's more notes down low. Keep reading. I want to get there.
As far as PvE is concerned, stasis crystals will still freeze combatants, and we've increased stasis crystal detonation damage versus PvE combatants. Looking at the numbers, it was almost always better to shoot directly at a combatant instead of a crystal near a combatant. This change should help crystals better live out their explosive barrel dreams. So for the stasis crystals, while forming, the stasis crystals now slow nearby players instead of freezing them. They still freeze the PvE combatants while forming. And they're doing a really good job of separation here, because I think the community needed to hear that.
For sure.
Increase the slow freeze radius while forming from 1.75 meters to 2.6.
Get wrecked. Reduce
crystal detonation damage versus players by 55%.
Get wrecked.
Increased crystal detonation damage versus PvE combatants by 60%. And increased crystal detonation radius from 6 to 8 meters. So they made it a little bit bigger, and it can slow. It makes me wonder what you could do with like the slow stacks with bombardiers.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's a triple slow. It'd be the grenade, it would be your dodge, it would be the bomb, and then you have 2 shurikens. It'd be 5. So I would assume you could freeze them.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of how much damage you do per each crystal. I think I'm trying to remember in my head.
I thought it was 40 per hit. No?
I can't remember. With the fracture whisper turned on, like the max power that you can do. I think.
Okay, dude. The next one's so big. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, damn it. I'm just trying to think if it'll still be able to one-hit tap in PvP.
In theory, it shouldn't. It definitely shouldn't do supers anymore.
No, supers are off the table for sure.
Because you can't shatter them. You know what I'm saying?
And also on top of that, like the changes to grenade kickstart, the grenade cooldown times changing, all that wrapped up together, that's a really, really big blow to Shatterdive.
Yes,
but yeah, there's much more to read. So
the Shatterdive works because they're frozen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely part of it. It's definitely part of it. It's still
Hunter,
good, but yeah.
The dodge. In order to meet our goal of less ability spam of the Crucible, we're reducing how often hunters can dodge. Gambler's dodge is getting hit the hardest here because it can completely circumvent melee ability cooldown times. You know what's funny? I tweeted about that like a month ago, and I got absolutely railed by people.
Oh, dude, I remember that.
Dude,
I was talking today on stream about how I was like, dude, why does the hunter dodge is the best ability in the game? Why do they get the best cooldown time?
Yeah, just imagine not being able to yeet out of a gunfight when you're getting outshot. Just imagine for a second.
Oh my gosh.
It also completely changes the hunter silhouette in the Crucible, making it very powerful. In addition, the hunter dodges no longer break projectile tracking, meaning it's less of a get out of a jail free card when a tracking rocket or other slow moving projectile is firing towards you. So for the hunter dodge, it no longer breaks projectile tracking. Marksman dodge, tier 10 mobility, cooldown increased from 11 to 14 seconds. Well, that isn't too bad.
That's not too bad. That's what,
base
3
cooldown
seconds?
unchanged to 29 seconds.
Oh, dude,
here's the deal.
They're fine.
They're fine.
They're fine.
The Gambler's dodge, tier 10 mobility cooldown increased from 11 to 18 seconds.
That's a little bit more.
That's a little bit more. The base cooldown duration from 29 to 38 seconds. So, I mean, the hunters, they're forcing your hand with the abilities. Like, hunters are mobility. Warlocks are recovery. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, let me tell you, cool guy, there should be no hunter tiers in the Twitch chat right now. Dude, this could be so much worse. I want to remind them that no longer breaks projectile tracking. Keyword projectile. So like you won't be able to dodge out of what? Like a Jotun shot? Mm-hmm. They've mentioned nothing here about the hunter dodge being able to break aim assist, which is like, would you agree with me in saying that that's by far the most powerful part of the dodge? Or like, depending on your input method, you know what I mean? M&K players don't really give a fuck that much, but for controller people, being able to break aim assist, I don't know. They're keeping that. So
well, since like because everything's just rank and filed in like a nice folder there at Bungie. So I mean, because they're separating things, they probably could, they can go right in there and take it off.
Yeah, you still get to break aim assist.
Put it on
controller friction. You still get to break reticle friction. And only a 3-second on the marksman dodge, dude. You could do so much worse to hunters. You could do so much worse. Okay, so that should be okay. Keep reading. Revenant.
You guessed it. The stasis crystal changes detailed earlier mean that the hunter revenant Shatterdive will almost never
almost
kill a full health guardian.
Good.
Shatterdive may still kill if the hunter is using Whisper of Fissures, Touch of Winter, and the target is in the very clear center of 6 crystals. But that has been incredibly rare in our playtesting. I think we can all agree that Shatterdive was too powerful.
No.
Yeah, well, just adapt. I mean, I know about 7,000 people on Reddit that think that you're just bad.
I'm dying. You're just bad, bro.
We tried a number of fixes over the past few releases, but the truth is that as long as Stasis Crystals froze players and Shatterdive shattered players, it was going to be too good. But it's not all rain clouds and puddles for the Shatterdive hunters. The increase of Stasis Crystal damage versus PvE combatants makes Shatterdive a great choice in PvE. And on top of that, we're increasing Shatterdive damage versus frozen combatants by 100%. So 2 times. We're having fun melting frozen monsters.
Golf clap, bro. Golf clap in the chat right now, boys.
Shatterdive, much less lethal versus players due to Stasis Crystal changes. much more lethal versus combatants due to the stasis crystal changes, and increased the shatter damage versus the PvE combatants by 100%. Grim Harvest increased fragment slots from 2 to 3. So they give you more.
Yeah.
All right. Can I talk about top tree Night Stalker?
Oh, you gotta come on, keep talking.
This change to the combination blow melee was made possible by our variable ability cooldown system. Previously, top tree Arc Strider were basically required to use Gambler's Dodge with the tree, and we hope this change will make this ability viable even if you're using Marksman Dodge. Combination blow reduces base damage duration from 96 seconds to 15 seconds. Let's go.
Oh my god, dude, Drewski just came in his pants right now.
I love it too. I love it too, man. That's
dude,
good.
Drew is freaking out. How much fucking money did Drew put into Giannis's pocket for that change, bro?
That's a good one.
Oh my god.
Bottom tree Night Stalker.
Keep going.
Vanish and Smoke melee has low damage output but high utility. Our data shows that the subclass tree is struggling in the Crucible, so we've decided to increase how often Pathfinder hunters can go invisible. Vanish and Smoke. Reduce base cooldown from 96 seconds to 75. So that's still good, especially when you have on an Omni Oculus and that tree itself, you get grenade damage. It's going to get pretty fast. And then, of course, the Graviton.
Sure.
Titan, you got it.
I'll take it away here. I'm not a Titan main, but I think Warlocks are next, right? So I'll take the next, in our effort to put the emphasis back on gunplay and PvP, we've decided to reduce the number of abilities that can one-shot a full health Guardian. Ooh, I think I like that. As such, the Titan's 3 shoulder charges are no... Ooh, Anno, you're about to get mad.
You're just standing there.
No longer one-shot abilities in PvP. To balance this out, we've made the shoulder charge quicker to activate, easier to hit with, and travel farther. Okay, I might actually be okay with that if it's still lethal and fun. We've also increased their damage in PvE. In our experience, they're still powerful in PvP, in combination with short-range weapons and when used as a movement tool. Okay, this might be a fair trade-off. We wanted to curb shoulder charges potency now that we've toned down shotguns as their current counter. When did they tone down shotguns? We'll be monitoring the data and feedback and adjusting accordingly. All shoulder charges, no longer one-shots players. Sprint activation time reduced from 1.5 to 1.25. Increased range from 5.5 to 6.8.
That's a long yeet,
That's pretty
dude.
Far, dude. That's pretty far.
That's deep.
Targeting cone width increased by 10%. Put 1/4 in the cone jar, by the way. Increased damage versus PvE combatants by 25%. Oh, here we go. We got the arc shoulder charge here. Reduced AoE damage from 90 to 40. Now blinds enemies. Oh, wow. Blinds enemies in the area on the hit. Okay, that actually sounds quite fun. Increased base cooldown from 82 to 90. We got the Void shoulder charge here. Reduced AoE damage from 90 to 40. Increased base cooldown from 82 to 90, or increased base cooldown. Hammer Strike, solar shoulder charge. Reduced direct impact damage from 170 to 120. Increased base cooldown from 82 to 90. I'm kind of interested in that blinding
2 words for you. Peregrine Greaves.
Peregrine Greaves. Barricade. Even with the rally barricade changes we made in Season of the Lost, using this ability during a firefight is still a risky proposition. We've spaced out the cooldowns of the 2 barricades. Interesting. Okay. To make the choice more interesting. Tower Barricade, increasing the cooldown from 37 to 40. Rally Barricade, reduced base cooldown from 37 to 32. I still think that's a very... I still think people are going to go towering, right? They're going to go towering.
No, that sucks so bad because, again, we talked about earlier, like the Titans have to go into resilience because of the barricade. And you're nerfing the barricade.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Behemoth. We agree with the general community feedback that the Behemoth could use love in PvE. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, they probably could. We're hoping these changes to Diamond Lance make this aspect a top-tier PvE pick. Shiver Strike is getting a big damage buff during the Glacial Quake Super. The Whisper of Change fragment buff here is also very spicy and should help the Behemoth's survivability in Pinnacle PvE activities. Whisper of Chains can be used by all Stasis subclass, but making crystals is kind of the Behemoth thing, so we're listing it here. Okay, Diamond Lance. Increased fragment slots from 1 to 3. Now spawns a Diamond Lance upon killing a PvE combatant with a stasis weapon. With a stasis weapon?
Oh, that's a stasis weapon.
Yeah, wow. Killing 3 players with stasis weapons in a single life. killing an enemy with a stasis ability, shattering an enemy. I kind of forgot about Diamond Lance, to be honest. Shiver Strike. Increased Shiver Strike damage while in Glacial Quake by 50%. Whisper of Chains. Increased damage resistance versus PvE enemies from 25 to 40%. That actually sounds kind of fun. That does seem like good Titan love right there. Bottom Tree Striker. This class is absolutely dominating PvP, so we're turning it down a notch. These changes were made to Fists of Havoc in Season of the Lost. The changes we made to Fists of Havoc in Season of the Lost helped Top Tree as intended, but they also turned Bottom Tree into a monster. On top of that, the stasis nerfs and other changes we've made over the past few releases created a power vacuum that Striker Bot filled with extreme prejudice. We hope these changes put Striker Bot back into the pack instead of towering high above everything else. Yeah, Bottom Tree Striker is very good in PvP right now. It's super strong. Knockout. Melee lunge range and melee damage bonus now deactivate after a melee kill. No. Did you say something?
No.
No.
Knockout's so good, man.
Knockout's cracked. I know a lot of people
who are
It's Dune's
fault. It's not Knockout's fault. It's Dune's fault.
Dune, how dare you? Trample. Super energy gain from Fist of Havoc. Light attack now decays to minimum amount over 3 PvP kills, down from WoW 7.
Good.
Frontal Assault Melee. Yeah, it's a good change. Increased base cooldown from 82 to 106.
Brutal.
Fist of Havoc. Heavy Slam radius reduced. Oh, thank the Lord. You're so far away from Fist.
They just buffed it, right?
They just buffed it. They're automatically taking it back. It's so strong. Like the range is, you could be so far and they'll get you, but they're changing it to Bottom Tree only, which I think is fair. That'll at least make Top Tree more of like a, I got to think about it pick, you know?
Yeah.
That's for sure. Do you want to, I'm a Warlock main.
Oh, you got Warlock, do it, baby.
Oh, I was going to sit back and hear you tell me the changes.
Oh, okay, yeah, we got it.
Yeah, do it.
Uncharged melee. Warlocks have been losing slap fights for too long. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like having the longest melee in the game, but it never connecting. But whatever.
Oh, God.
Until now, Warlocks haven't been able to melee back to back as quickly as Titans and Hunters. No more. For the 30th anniversary, Warlocks will be able to melee just as quickly as Titan and Hunters. We're also removing the 1 meter range extension Warlocks receive to compensate. We still think the idea of each class having unique qualities to their melee is interesting, but we want to do it in a way that won't cause one class ability to consistently lose slap fights. Maybe someday in the future.
Yeah, let's fucking go, dude. I'm so tired of the Warlock is the melee class. Like, really? Because I get slapped, bro.
Are you sure about that?
I get backhanded. All right, keep going. Keep going.
Uncharged melee. Reduced melee range from 5.5 to 4.5 now matches Hunter and Titan.
Mm-hmm.
Reduced suppression time after melee. Now can melee back to back at the same speed as Hunter and Titan. So the Ophidians would bring it back to the 5.5, correct? In theory?
Probably. Oh, dude. I'm an Ophidian main.
Well, dude, I mean, that's the play then, dude. Because with what they're doing to abilities, I don't know. We're gonna get through this, but I've always had a problem with neutral game exotics, and they're skyrocketing as I go through this. Dude.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Middle Tree Voidwalker. In our effort to do away with one-shot abilities that are frustrating to be hit by, Handheld Supernova is also getting the shoulder charge treatment. That's right. Good. Handheld Supernova will no longer one-shot in the Crucible. To compensate, it now travels farther and pushes enemies back. We've also increased the damage of Handheld Supernova and Nova Warp versus champion and boss combatants. We had increased their damage in Season of the Lost, but it felt like they could use even more juice. So the Handheld Supernova, reduced damage versus players, now deals 150 max. Increased damage versus champions and bosses by 30%. Increased projectile range from 12 meters to 14 meters. That's a long Handheld Supernova.
Yeah, that's long, dude.
Now pushes targets away from the Warlock on detonation. That's actually pretty sick, dude.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Like,
because if you're getting rushed, you with a shotgun, you can throw that grenade.
Yeah.
Deal the 150 or 100, right? But you're yeeting them back. It's actually, I like this change.
Dude, if you pair that together with, I don't know, any primary, like, dude, how about Shira, kill clip? Shotgun aping you. You're like, yo, get out of my face. You destroy them from further away and push them further back. And I just finish them with Shira, free kill clip, bro.
That's really, I think that's actually
a fair change.
pretty sweet.
I think that's pretty fair. Okay, keep going.
The Nova Warp damage has been increased versus champions and bosses by 30%. Shadebinder. We feel that Shadebinder is in a pretty good place for a couple, with a couple of exceptions. Okay. One, Winter's Wraith is still the best super for shutting down other supers, and it's not even close. Winter's Wrath must now freeze and shatter other supers twice to kill them, and as a general rule, roaming supers should be able to one-shot other supers. 2, the Prenumbral Blast melee is too difficult to land against PvE combatants. We made the ability harder to land in PvP. It had a negative effect on our PvE experience. So we've increased the proximity detonation radius against PvE combatants to make it easier to land.
Good.
All 3 stasis grenades now have different cooldown times. So we made a big change to Bleak Watcher to avoid a situation where it was always best to use this grenade with the shortest cooldown time. This results in an overall cooldown increase for Bleak Watcher, which fits its incredibly high power output. Winter's Wrath, reduced shatter pulse damage versus enemy supers, must now generally freeze and shatter all supers twice to eliminate. Prenumbral Blast, increased proximity detonation radius versus PvE combatants by 100%. Bleak Watcher, while Bleak Watcher is equipped, all stasis grenades charge at Glacier Grenade rate.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair change.
You know, a lot of this stuff, man, it's really tough to get a grip.
Yeah,
because they don't give the actual number. And what I was really interested in, and maybe it's still to come.
Go on,
because they said that's all for now, folks. So I would assume that we're closing this down. I really thought that we were going to get something on recovery, mobility, resilience.
Yeah, I thought that. And remember, by the way, people in my chat are like, some people are like, "Yo, Dune Marchers though, like no change." They mentioned this is not everything.
Yeah, this is the December. This is the upcoming patch, the 30th anniversary patch.
Yeah, this is the appetizer.
Which by the way, they can separate PvE and PvP.
Yep,
we've seen it. Let's go ahead and. As about you take us home.
I'll take it home here. That's all for now, folks. Okay, I think we've covered the big stuff. There's a bunch of other small changes coming in the 30th anniversary, but we will cover everything else in the official patch notes. As you can see, the team has been hard at work adjusting the sandbox globally. Yeah, they really have. We hope the picture we're painting here reinforces the statements we've made in the past. The sandbox is going to evolve alongside the game. It's fair. As we hit year 5 and beyond, this statement will become even more true with new and exciting changes coming with the Subclass 3.0 experience. Stay tuned for the patch notes when the 30th anniversary goes live on December 7th. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff here for the... If you want to learn about all this stuff here, yeah, keep reading it. All the juicy stuff is over. I'm quick scrolling here at CoolGuy. If people have known issues, you know how to submit a known issue. We got the movie of the week stuff. Beautiful. Watch that on your own. Artist of the week. Hot. I like it. Sexy. I like it. Tight. Okay, did you make it to the end? Long Twab is long. It takes a lot of work on the part of numerous teams to get a Twab out the door. Our friends on the Sandbox team wrote the bulk of this update, and we can't thank them enough for their efforts, not only in developing the game, but taking time to run through goals and keeping people informed. Between the dev team, VizD team, localization team, editorial team, player support team, the Dream team, Bungie.net team, Bungie Foundation team, countless other teams and individuals who have helped us ship Twabs in the past, it's still crazy to me that we ship these nearly every single week of the given year. They're not all mega Twabs like today. No, they are not. They still all take a bit of work to get out the door as we continue to serve the community and provide transparency into our studio. While I know I'm a week early for Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for every single one of them. Much love. See you next week for a short and sweet Twab. Until December 7th, I'll be dreaming of these sandbox changes. All I can think about is jumping on an Arc Hunter, yeah, for real, and equipping a Flux Grenade. Bet you can't stick it. Yep. Cheers from Dylan. That was a very interesting Twab overall. There's a lot to take in. I'm trying to put together a TLDR 30,000 foot view, CoolGuy. I would put it more into, if I had to TLDR the Twab, I would say more focus on gunplay, less focus on ability abuse in PvP, because they're separating that between PvP and PvE. And I also think more fine tuning on timers. The more cracked stuff is going to have a longer timer. The less cracked stuff by design is going to have a shorter timer, which I think is fair because you can't have everything in the game be absolutely cracked if, like, you know, every ability being to the level of, I don't know, Shatterdive, and you wouldn't want that. There's going to be options all over the table. I think it's fair to make the strong stuff take longer.
Yeah, they're adjusting on lethality.
Yeah, adjusting
and they
on
made very
lethality.
conscious choices,
smart.
like that flux grenade, to make it extremely lethal but have a penalty.
Now is the time to work on your gun skill. And I have never seen my Twitch chat be this polarized on anything. Half of them are like, let's fucking go. I want more weapon skill. And half the people are like, no, my favorite ability got touched. This is fucked. Like, a lot of people are really going back and forth on this TWAB. I'm going to have more of an offline discussion with my buddy CoolGuy. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you're watching today's video on YouTube, please let me know how you feel about any of these changes, all of these changes down below in the comment section. Are you on board? Are you not on board? Why? Why or why not? Happy about the Shatterdive changes? Not happy about the Shatterdive changes? Let me know how you feel. It's a lot to take in. The patch is, I think, coming out on December 7th, along with the 30th anniversary. It's going to be a wild one. I'm looking forward to it. I think we're on the right track. Some people are worried that ability cooldowns might be far too long now. But remember, Bungie said they will continue to do adjustments as needed. But, oh, we have another tweet from Dylan here. What do we got? We will need to check with the team on Rift cooldowns, Dragon Shadow. Fluxnade takes precise aiming and has a long cooldown. Right. Used it in a bit of playtest, had a lot of fun. Right. Remember, people might be freaking. When I first read the Fluxnade change at the beginning of the TWAB, y'all remember I freaked out. Because I was like, why? No one-shot kill in PvP. Boo, that was in D1. Boo. But they've removed the tracking. So it's literally a plasma grenade from Halo. So I think these are all interesting changes. I hope we're moving in the right direction. I think we are, but time will tell. And we just got to let Bungie know if we think that the changes are fucked, if we think they're totally bad, then we just got to let them know. Because they've mentioned that they want to continue to monitor the feedback. And what did they say? It's an evolving sandbox. It's an evolving sandbox. Overtuned, undertuned, time will tell. Thank you very much for watching today's video on YouTube. If you are new around here, please click the subscribe button and come check us out on the live Twitch stream with my lovely chat. They are still popping off right now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.